Everybody, thanks for checking out the video here. Case Hits Collectibles, going through another Lorcana market check over kind of like the last eight or nine sets here. It's been pretty exciting to see how things have kind of changed over the last couple of months. Obviously, we had extreme hype at the beginning of the summer and kind of dwindling down, and we're having this consolidation period, and we'll kind of discuss my thoughts for why that might be happening and what we're seeing and what's going on with kind of all these things. So Shimmering Skies coming up here. Booster box prices sitting in here at 145. Over the last 6 months, we are still up 76%, and over the last month, we are down 4.5%. So really, while this is definitely what some would be considered a cooling off period, in this game and space, 4% is really nothing. 4% up and down is nothing. That's somebody cutting shipping off of their price, right? It's no big deal. 3 months, you're up 36%. And the biggest factor for some of these older sets, if you're looking at this, obviously these are the individual boxes, not the cases, but what you're looking for is the current quantity available. This is the amount of supply that comes back into the market. And with a lot of these that we're going to have seen over the last few months of videos, is the supply came to the market during the frenzy that drove a lot of the box prices, up, $100 or $50. And when that happened, a lot of stores and a lot of people that were just sitting on these things were like, oh my gosh, I've had these things for a year or two. Now's the opportunity to get some value out of them. So people put them back on the market, and that extra supply, it's going to take time to get through that supply. But as long as these sets aren't being reprinted by Ravensburger, there's going to be no additional supply, and therefore anything that's collectible in these cards, the enchanteds for this set, any of the playable legendaries, things like that before rotation and all that, those things will be there. Once rotation happens, that's when we're going to be kind of stuck with. When rotation happens on these types of games, what's going to happen is there's going to be no demand for the product outside of simply the short supply investment potential, or if the items, the singles right here inside the product, can stay collectible and scarce enough to drive the price up. Right now, I have to say, I don't see too many rare and scarce items. A lot of singles have come to the market. Just take Mufasa, for instance, right here, right? We have it up to $308. Very healthy price. That's a very nice, healthy price that's held up here for this. Sales have kind of dropped down to 1 or 2 every couple of days. Again, that's nothing bad. That's not a bad thing. The issue is that there's still 34 quantity available. So again, 27 sellers, 34 available. This is not a low enough number for this to kind of go quote unquote parabolic, unless somebody comes in here and just buys 10 out, right? Tries to push the price up to 500 or something like that. I think a lot of these were purchased. A lot of these are shipped off to be graded. People are hoping that they get a PSA 10 because there's still a very large PSA 10 multiplier, even in this down market. So that's what we're seeing. And looking at this front page, though, we're talking about a $150 box, right? $140, $150 box when it's all said and done. And I'm looking at this top page, and I'm seeing plenty of cards above that $40 to $50 range, and then a few of the the case hits, the chases that are well over they're at the box price or very close to it. So still a decent value in Shimmering Skies, decent product. There's nothing wrong with this product. But I do think that we're going to have to, if you're doing like a long-term investing for these boxes, it's just going to slow down. It's a couple of 5 or 6 a day. It's going to take a time to churn through this inventory. And then again, as we hit new benchmarks, like when we hit 175, for instance, you're probably going to see more boxes enter the market. Then when we hit 200, there's a good chance that the people that bought at 140 will start to sell when the box prices get to 200, and you'll see more into the market. So it's a slow slog, grind through these markets. So just be aware of that. All right, Azurite C coming up here. I'm going to speed up a little bit here. So we're back down to like $112. So really not, not say back down, but this box also has grown over the last year, 17%, solid. 3 months, 17%. So all of its growth kind of happened right there in the last 6 months, which is what we expect. We were down from 85. It's still holding. It's holding because there's just not a ton. There's not a ton still available. No reprints means that these products can dry up over time. We just saw the other sets. You're going to see that a lot. I still do personally believe that the Azurite C enchanteds are the weakest enchanteds to me. The color scheme, it doesn't pop as much. It's just not as exciting, as some of the newer enchanteds, as we'll get to later. That's just my opinion. I've heard from plenty of people in the comments that they love these enchanteds. They don't love them enough to buy a bunch of them, but they like the style, they like the change. They're okay. They're okay. You know what I mean? Like I would probably, if I'm looking at this, if I were gonna buy one, I would just probably skip right to it. I own the Raya. If I were gonna buy one, I would just skip it and I would just go straight here, pick up the Tigger right now. A classic iconic character. There's not very many sales, but you pick up a Winnie the Pooh character for 160 bucks in the near mint right here. This person's got 6 of them. I think that's the play. If you're gonna get this set, just get the chase card. Just go straight at the gut, get the chase card, and be done with it. Other than that, I don't see too much in Azurite C that I although it's only 100 bucks, it's $115 a box. This isn't where I'm focused because what we just talked about with the singles, I don't think the singles here are going to carry this set as strongly as other things. Now, over 5 years, it probably won't matter. But again, right now, let's just say you had a limited number of funds and you had to pick a set. Azurite C would just not be the set that I'm picking. All right, let's move on to Archesius Island. Right here, a 118 a box for the lowest listed, 118 a box. Same. You guys are seeing the same theory here. The last 6 months is where a lot of the demand came in here. A lot of purchasing. Look, item quantity 79. I think the quantity here was 96, and then the quantity for Shimmering Skies is 133. So Shimmering Skies has a lot more quantity available, 50% more quantity available, and is at $150 a box. Interesting. But you've got really strong characters in the enchanted. So keep that in your thought process when you're looking at what's going on with some of these cards. All right, so we got Archesius Island going up 6 months, looking strong. Again, really not like you had a dip in July, but it recovered pretty well. So Archesius Island's actually holding pretty strong there. I like that. Now we look here, really cool, really nice enchanteds. Again, you got a Mickey Mouse. I mean, come on. Belle, pretty strong. The Jafar, pretty strong. Obviously, Elsa and Anna, and then Aurora, Sleeping Beauty. So there's a lot going on here. I think I own the Bolt here. Yeah. So just keep an eye on this stuff. I think I own the Bolt and the Eero. But that's where we're at. I think the set's decent set. Definitely some value in these top cards. When you have all of these top 4 or 5 cards above 150, that is solid. That is solid. Box price is under the case hit sort of checking there. I think we're okay. This is actually, unashamedly, this is one of my favorite, I think, sleeper sets here. What are we at? 130 a box. This one got up to 175. So this one, the last month, has actually been pretty rough. This one's come down 16-17%. It may have come down even more if we go back a little bit further right here, because it went from I think it was selling for like 175 all the way down to 128. $50 difference. We're pushing 25-30% right there on the downside. However, we look 127 boxes listed, out of rotation, not going to continue to get more supply. I do think that we have a lot of things keeping demand down for these sealed products and for Lorcana in general. There are a lot of great games out there. I'm telling you right now, Dragon Ball Fusion, Gundam's new Freedom Ascension set. You've got Riftbound getting some popularity with the Vendetta set and the T1 set coming up. Like, there's a lot of cool things going on there. Magic the Gathering is dropping just absolute banger after banger set right now. Like, Magic the Gathering can't really be stopped right now. Pokemon obviously has 2 really great sets coming out, including Pokemon 30th. And from what I've seen, and a lot of people in this industry, on the investor side, looking at box prices and sealed prices and collectors and all that, I see a lot of people who are maximum strapping themselves out every month with as much cash as they can get and as much credit as they can get. And they have to pick the best thing that they're going to get a return on. If they don't, they have to fire, sell, and dump to get ready for the next thing or to pay a bill. So I think that's causing a lot of these boxes to suppress. This is, I got to admit, at these prices, I think I'd be looking at probably getting another case. Personally, again, this is one of the products of Lorcana that I own the most. Okay, cases actually have been holding okay, only down 2%. So cases haven't had as much fall off. We're at 600 bucks here, 550. I like this product. Now let me show you why do I like this product so much. Okay, let's go check it out. Look at the top Look at the top 6 cards. Remember what we were saying over here with Archesius Island, top 4 were like, you know, look, we got 150, 200, 250, 250, right? Go to Azurite Sea, you've got 100, 100, 120, 150, so pretty low. Go to Shimmering Skies, top 4 cards, 120, 120, 160, 300, the big boy, $400 right there on the big boy, right? Then we go to Reign of Jafar. Look at Reign of Jafar. This is crazy. We have to scroll down like 3 lines. 3 lines of enchanteds here to get Lilo at 100. Then we've got 115, or, you know, it's probably more. 170, excuse me. Lilo is 100 on lightly played. Captain Hook is 90. So let's go with Captain Hook as our first. That means we have 12 cards above $100 in this set. How is this set as cheap as it is? I have no freaking clue. Not only that, but you have Stitch up here at massive price, $350. And these only have 14 listings, guys. 12 listings, 14 listings. That, you know, go back here. We have 27 listings of Mufasa, 22 listings of Snow White. Reign of Jafar is, I think, absolutely being slept on. I know I sound like I'm a giant like shill right now. I'm just speaking my mind. This is what I feel is the best thing for the non-iconic sets. Let me caveat this for the non-iconic sets. You know, obviously Fabled and on, those iconics are sexy, but look at the value. Look at the value in the top 12 cards of this freaking set, even during the down market. Like, this thing got up to like $500 at one point, didn't it? Or maybe I'm wrong. No, I must be wrong. But it's still, look at the hold. Look at the hold. Look at the hold right here. Now, there's not a lot selling, but it is just holding strong. 13 items listed, $350. This card's going to be gone, and it's got all the classic characters, right? All the classic characters. Land Before Time. All right, into the, we got Elsa, we got Bambi, and nobody cares about Bambi, but Jasmine, Rapunzel. I mean, come on. We got Lilo, we got Stitch. I mean, this is Captain Hook. What are we talking about here? What are we talking about? Anyway, this is a great product. I think there's tons of value in this product. I could really see a lot of people enjoying this in the future as they go. Okay, enough shilling for Reign of Jafar. I'm looking at this because I'm actually getting itchy. Like, I might sell something and buy another case of Reign of Jafar and just hold for the future, because I'm looking at this and I feel like there's going to be opportunity there. Anyway, moving on to Fabled, everyone's favorite set. We are at $850. Again, everybody's freaking out. These boxes were $1,000. Look, when booster boxes for a modern product, you know, this is a year old. When booster boxes for a game that's growing, a young game, you know, I know the IP's been around forever, but the game hasn't. They get to $1,000. Like, that's a level that pushes most buyers out. I think the only people buying boxes at $1,000 are speculators, scalpers, business people, collectors, and whatnot streamers and rip and shippers. You know what I mean? Like, most normal people aren't buying a $1,000 box hoping they pull a cool card. Most people aren't. You know, so here we are. This thing is still obviously very strong. Only 56 listed, so still not that much Fabled. The only thing that could absolutely crush Fabled and its trajectory, I think, is if they Ravensburger reprints it and they reprint it heavy. Now, that being said, we look at the quality of the cards. Oh my goodness, look at the value in this set. There is a reason it is that expensive. I get it. Again, I don't open rip product and chase hits. I just buy whatever I want. Contrary to the name of this company. But yeah, so here we are. I mean, absolute amazing value in this set. Look at the listings: 2, 1, 8, 9, 13. I mean, people are just gobbling up this set. Fabled is by far, you know, the strong set, you know, in this game right now. But if they do reprint it, I would say that is your biggest green light ever to swoop in there and get as much as you can afford to get, and then sit on it for another year, right? You buy a ton of it, and you just wait for the sales flow to go through. Is because as the price dips, when that price dips down to 700, 600, 500, buyers will come back in trying to chase those big iconic hits and such, and then that will drive the demand with other people as they see the sale through rate, they see the price going back up, and then it kind of gets people excited again, and then boom, next thing you know, we're back up to $750, $800. So I think if it does get reprinted, yes, it would suck in the short term for anybody who's holding a lot of it, but really it's a great window of opportunity to get in there and get some. All right, Whispers in the Well, kind of a sleeper iconic set, to be honest. If we look at this, we're at $200 a box. Again, another box that hasn't really suffered this quote unquote summer lull. It had a little bit of a dip down to 165, but it's come right back up. Only 85 boxes available. Again, all of these could be suspect to a reprint here. 1 year chart looks pretty typical of TCGs. You have the lull down here, $100, and then bam, now you're $200. Probably a decent opportunity still here because there are some pretty quality cards here. Just lower iconics, but Ariel, Hades, Cinderella, another Elsa, Simba, and it's probably it for like the really, really important ones. And then obviously Mickey, Daffy and Goofy. It's just always going to be something there, right? So keep an eye on this one. Whispers in the Well, $200. Probably not going to stay $200 forever. I would imagine by the end of December, we're probably pushing that 225, probably 250 mark would be my guess on this box. Again, because these iconics are just so strong. So keep an eye on that. Winter Spell, another, I think, amazing product, holding at $200. This is probably one of those situations where if these don't get reprinted, that's the big kicker, right? These sets have only been out for a little bit of time. They haven't even been out a year. They are, in my opinion, they are ripe and due for Ravensburger to drop reprints onto the market. They've appreciated in value, up almost 100% in some cases. They're doing really well. They have great cards in them. Players are going to be complaining that they can't afford the card. So I think these are great opportunities to get these products. But if I see a reprint, again, every reprint I would see for me would be a green light to kind of jump in here. I would expect the hype is going to continue to stay, and give it a few months. Give Pokemon 30th anniversary a few months to digest, and then people will be looking for other opportunities in the spaces. They will be buying things back up. I think that we just need to be patient here, and we'll be there. All right, Moana, Pocahontas, beautiful iconics. Elsa, Eeyore is coming in strong. Eeyore's been coming up really good. Oana, Anna, like there's a lot here. Definitely a more feminine set. I think it's fair to say that. Angel, we got a lot of heroines, you could say, in this set for Winter Spell, and that's going to have an appeal to certain types of collectors out there. I mean, Scrooge McDuck, Reform Ebenezer, like this is actually a really cool card. I like that card a lot. So good stuff. Very similar to Whispers in the Well in terms of pricing and value. A little bit more feminine than Whispers in the Well. Like this is a little bit more dark, in some places, especially with the art. Winter Spell a lot more bright and feminine. But hey, everything's got its market there. These are going to be popular for a long time. These are iconic characters, so keep an eye on it. Wilds Unknown. Another great quality set here. Another set with iconics. Hasn't really had any more downward pressure. I know we all are saying that like we're in a little bit of a lull. The lull, all we mean, I guess, is that it's not going up 60% every month. I don't know. We seem pretty strong here. So $230 a box for Wilds Unknown. That is a great price. I mean, that's a great price. These boxes, Lorcana couldn't stay above, $120 most cases. And so for Wilds Unknown to be out and staying above $100 or $220, $230 still, pretty impressive. Now let's go ahead and check out the singles. Absolute goated Buzz Lightyear, Merida. I was going to buy a Jessie today, but the store that I was at kind of irritated me. So I just decided, I'm just going to walk away. They just weren't very polite and supportive and helpful or anything. Anyway. So I was looking at Jessie today because I feel like this price, honestly, I feel like the price is kind of fair. I mean, we were up to like $340 at one point. Now we're down to 200 again. Jessie's come down a lot, 32% down for Jessie with 58 listings. So people definitely dumped them on the market whenever the price ran up. These are common themes in the TCG space. You gotta learn these things. I will repeat myself probably every video because I think it's important that, especially new people watching, like these cycles are how things go. The super expensive cards, look, there's not very much sell-through rate, so you can't really do much. The lower price cards, you have a lot more sell-through rate and a lot more data to track. You can see what happens is price was low, 186, price got up to the 300s. A lot more quantity came available all of a sudden, and then that drives the price back down as everybody's kind of like, quote unquote, chasing the bottom, catching a falling knife. Everybody tries to undercut each other, trying to sell into the hype. And then when the demand dries up, the price just keeps going down, 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 down. Those could be opportunities to get in there and check it out. Now, newest set here, Attack of the Vine. This is one of those sets that, everybody was all anxious. Why is it pre-selling for above MSRP? Why is it above MSRP? What's going on? It's above MSRP, right? You have MSRP gang. And I get it. everybody wants cheap boxes. Everybody wants cheap cards so that they can pull the big hits and have a bunch of value in their collection or sell them for the next set or whatever they want to do. Everybody wants to profit for themselves. Your store is not gouging you if they're offering it at market price. I'm just going to tell you that right now. If they offer it to you for MSRP, you should probably, really appreciate that and buy from them a lot more. And also, guess what? When the market is putting these boxes at $100, maybe you should buy MSRP as well to support them if you want to be like that. So anyway, I'm done with my soapbox there for you. But we're looking at this again over the last 3 months. Not bad. Last month, yes, we've had some downward pressure, 20%. Brand new set. It is expected to come down off the highs of the release. 145 available. Obviously, definitely in the reprint range, but it will be, it'll be in rotation for a while here. So there's also the opportunity that players are going to be buying up these last few sets because they are in rotation. Something to keep in mind. But this is stuff like I don't really deal in new product for my long-term holds. I try to look for product that's going to be out of print, that's not going to get any reprints, that's going to have a lower supply, and then let those in that has a lot of quantity sold. So for me, the key factors are current quantity available, time that it's been released, average daily sold, total sold, things like that. Because I want to see where's there high demand on a product that is running out fast. And those would be the opportunities in terms of an investment. So let's go and check out Attack of the Vine, see how these things are doing. The Iconic, I'm going to be quite frank with you guys. I think this card is going to be an easy $5,000 plus PSA 10 whenever the market kind of comes back into this. I feel like these are some very fair prices. This one, I'm not as big of a fan of this. Now, Lilo and Stitch is a little bit of a more modern movie for an old guy like me. However, I know people love Lilo and Stitch. You can see that there's a lot more of these being sold, so people are buying these, but the price is still low. I don't know if this is any harder to find or not. It's kind of interesting. There's only like one sale, and there's only 17 listed. Maybe everybody that's pulling these is actually keeping them or sipping them off to get graded, and that would explain why one sale at 16 listing, and this one has 10 sales and it's still 16 listed. So that's kind of a weird, I think people are dumping the Lilo and Stitch, and people are probably holding on to and grading the Bella and the Beast. So this is an amazing card. Anyway, looking through it, Winnie the Pooh is an amazing card. Woody and Buzz, amazing card. I mean, this card, Woody and Buzz, is going to be a very expensive card in the future as well. Mickey and Minnie Mouse is going to be obviously always collectors for that. This Sully and Boo card, kind of weird. It's okay. It's cool, but it's kind of weird. Peter and Pan, I think, is a great card. I mean, there's just a lot of really good. Pocahontas and Mika, really great. I mean, look at this. Scar looks sexy. Aladdin, yeah, tons and tons. And the Mary looks sweet. Tons of value in these dang enchanteds. This box, we got a while to go, though. This box is going to have probably a reprint, probably another wave of product available. I think we've got time for this one. 200, maybe we get down to like 175, 185 at some point. You can buy into it again, but hold your horses on those. Yeah, going back through, I think Whispers in the Well. I think you have an opportunity. Whispers in the Well. I think if Fabled gets a reprint, that would be a glowing opportunity. Reign of Jafar is probably my number one. My number one is probably Reign of Jafar, and even Shimmering Skies. Not a bad look on that. With a couple of high quality cards, but really, again, you look at these, just look at the value of the top 10 cards in every set, and then think about the box price and go, hey, does that make any sense? Anyway, appreciate you guys. This was a longer video. I wanted to get caught back up on the Lorcana market since we haven't really done a video on it in a while. Thank you so much, guys. Like, subscribe, whatever, you know the deal. Share the video with anybody who doesn't like Lorcana, and hopefully they can come in here and check it out and appreciate this market. Talk to you later. Bye.